We recently did a nifty time-lapse project at the Horseshoe Casino in Baltimore, where we shot tons and tons of footage, but only ended up using a small amount in the 30-second commercial. So, we thought we'd create an additional video to share footage and things we learned while we were working on it. The project was filming time-lapse of world record-holding card stacker Bryan Berg over 14 8-hour days. Initially, the client showed us YouTube promo videos as an example of what they were looking for. Putting together the bid, I did some research and learned that DSLR cameras are typically used for time-lapse video.
I'm a longtime user of the Canon Rebel series. I like the features they bring, including high-quality video, while being light enough to take anywhere. We used my Canon and bought 2 additional Rebels for about the same price as renting 3 higher-end cameras for 2 weeks.
A bonus discovery we made was that if you use a DSLR in photo mode, the image is actually a lot larger than what a video camera captures, even bigger than 4K, allowing you to zoom, crop, and get multiple shots out of the same images with no loss in quality. After talking to Bryan, we decided to include a GoPro due to its small size and versatility. While we wouldn't suggest it for a primary camera, you can get some interesting shots that would be difficult to pull off with a bulky DSLR. Midway through pre-production, the project changed. The client decided they wanted a 30-second broadcast commercial instead of a longer YouTube promo. This had a big impact. A high-quality broadcast commercial needs a lot of light, and the location where we were shooting was very dimly lit. We brought in lighting consultants, rented a truckload of lights, and renegotiated the budget.
In many of the sites I went to, it was suggested to shoot in camera raw, which we did.
But between 3 cameras, 8-hour days, and 14 days of filming, we ended up with data overload, and it took huge amounts of time to make the conversions. We ended up with almost 2.5 terabytes of data. If we had to do this project again, we would consider shooting in high-quality JPEG instead.
Another contributing factor to data overload was the interval time we set. We set 2 cameras at 20-second intervals and 1 at 15. By the end of the project, we realized the ideal interval should be based on the total time of the activity, the length of the final clip, and the focus of the video. At the intervals we used, the focus was on Bryan, and he seemed to be moving too fast. But when we sped up the timing, the focus shifted to the building of the card house, and it was perfect.
Despite the overload, the amount of images we had did give us lots of options, so it wasn't totally one-sided.
One thing I learned was the advantage of DC power. We had the cameras running for 8 hours and never once had to worry about changing the battery.
My husband Craig, a gear fanatic, had a number of specialized super clamps and accessories. We used them to mount the DSLRs to some of the extra C-stands the lighting company provided. This enabled us to get the best possible camera angles as the room began to fill with card buildings.
As the shoot went on, we learned the value of reviewing the previously shot footage. In the future, we will carve out time after the first day to really study the footage, because we noticed opportunities to improve upon exposure settings, camera placement, zoom, and eliminating background distractions.
When I became backup camera operator, I realized I didn't know the cameras like Frank did. Anytime you have the possibility of substitute personnel, no matter how qualified in their own field, a cheat sheet and training is really helpful to make sure the job is covered well. Last but definitely not least, we'd like to give a big shout out of thanks to Bryan Berg. Not only is he an amazing card stacker, but he's friendly, a good team player, and knowledgeable about capturing his work on camera. He frequently gave us tips on lighting and camera setup. He handled all the GoPro shots himself. And after a while, he started shutting off the cameras when he left the room, which cut down on our data overload dramatically.
Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below.